Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Happy to see so many of you in today's call. This session is all about Oracle Analytics service available in OCI. We scheduled it because there was so many of you asking for it. So we really hope that you will enjoy this great demo coming from Ionut. So I'm Violeta. I'm joined today by Ionut Forlafu, who is an analytic technical specialist within Oracle EMEA, and Ionut will be your presenter for this session and for the demo part.
So hello again. In today's session, we are exploring some Oracle Expenses Analytics using Oracle Analytics Cloud, the tool that we provide in our Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Let's go a brief session over the tool because Oracle Analytics has more than 20 plus years of experience in helping customers to analyze their data and extract insights, but also take action based on the insights that they extract and from different type of industries. So we are not focusing only one type of industries. We are using different use cases for healthcare. We are using machine learning for customers in commerce or e-commerce. We are detecting churn and attrition with predictive analytics using Oracle Analytics Cloud for every type of companies. On the HR side, you can visualize real-time flight probability. So also we are using on the transportation sector and so on. Oracle Analytics Platform, also called Oracle Analytics Cloud. It's a comprehensive cloud-native analytics platform. So you will have all the tools inside it to achieve your BI and analytics, reports, dashboards, without needing to blend in or integrate any other component. So you will have everything in there from data visualization, data preparation, data quality, and data flows. Also, you can leverage machine learning algorithms that are out of the box in the tool, or you can embed AI analytics in it. Everything from that to the pixel perfect reporting in one tool in the cloud. And what's the big importance of Oracle Analytics as a platform in the cloud is that it's self-upgrading, self-patching, and self-securing. So you don't need to stress about that part of administering the tool. Well, we deliver with the Oracle Analytics Cloud platform at every stage of the analytics journey. So from connecting to the data, you have the ability to connect to almost every data source, either being with a live access or caching the data to show the results faster. You'll model your data in a single source of truth using semantic modelers or business modelers, and you can blend also other type of data like files in it. You'll prepare your data by transforming, enrich it, and cleaning your data using specific analytics tools. You will explore the data in dashboards, reports, workbooks with the help of natural language and machine learning to get some insights at the beginning and help you in starting your exploration. Your experience, your dashboards, you interact and consume them in a web browser or a mobile application, or you can embed them in your custom application. So you can embed your visuals in your custom application, and you'll collaborate, share your content with others to consume it by themselves. So let's go a little bit deep on this analytics workflow using Oracle Analytics Cloud. We have more than 35 plus direct connectors to analytics to data sources, starting from Oracle applications, Oracle databases, flat files. You can also connect to Microsoft SQL Service, Salesforce, and competitors in the cloud like Amazon Redshift, Snowflake, Azure, PostgreSQL, and so on. After connecting to the data, you'll need to model the data in a centralized and governed way using semantic models. So model once and deploy it everywhere. You'll have on this a single source of truth. Then you'll have on the governance side role-based security, but also you can go. We have also some application role security, and so on. You can self-service your data modeling. You can add multi-tables to your data set. And over that, you will have the possibility to use the machine learning and advanced user machine learning capabilities that come out of the box with the tool. After you do the model, you can prepare your data for exploration by importing external or personal data sets. If you want, you can leverage the smart data profiling, data enrichment out of the box from the tool. And after you do these preparation steps, you can schedule them with data flows to have them repeated at every time you add new data. And then you'll explore your data by using the interactive data visualization self-service part. You can also use the machine learning insights, called also auto insights. You can query your data or search your data with natural language. So don't write any script. You can write natural language, and you will see this in today's today's workshop. You can also use one-click advanced analytics and metadata and data search. Experience, so experience in building your dashboards, using AI natural language narrative now. So previously you used the AI natural language generatives. Now you can use narratives. You can explore it on the web, reports and dashboards. You can add your custom visuals if you want, create, add custom plugins to the tool if you want, and you can embed it into external web application. You will collaborate. You will have an analytics catalog where you store your data sets, you store your your projects, your reports. You can share it on a social network. You can also integrate it with Slack or any other chatbot that you can connect to the OCI or the Oracle Cloud integration. You can have a multi-user development and can consume also with the mobile application that we have. Let's see how Oracle Analytics is placed in the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure environment. So analytics is a central part of the OCI, so the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And you can advance your analytics capabilities by leveraging other components of the Oracle infrastructure. So you can advance your analytics capabilities by connecting to Oracle OCI data science and get the models from there and connect them in Oracle Analytics Cloud and score the new data based on the models created in OCI. You can use the AI services also, again, to like AI services like vision, language services to leverage new capabilities of Oracle Analytics Cloud. And you'll also have the full capabilities of the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, being public, government cloud, or cloud at customer. In today's hand lab, we will have an overview of what the tool can handle and what you can achieve with the tool in a short lab with 5 exercises. In this lab, we'll play the role of an IT or LOB data analyst that will try to find some information from some data that was shared with them. The summary of the use case, what we will do and what we will see on the screen. We will start by importing a data set in OAC. OAC means Oracle Analytics Cloud. We'll analyze the data with the search bar and find the higher expenses by country. We will use Explain, one of the augmented analytics capabilities of the tool, to find the higher expenses for the hotels from the sales department. This information will be provided by the tool. We will create visuals to confirm that hotel spend. We have an overspend in one of the hotels in the Porto city in Portugal. Then we will blend additional data. So we'll add an additional data for the provider agreements that our company has. And we will see that on one of the hotels where we have a higher spend, this agreement wasn't applied. And we can see how much money we could save if that agreement was applied by the vendor. Then we will make some design beautiful changes of the results and share it with our manager or with our business users to consume it. So first exercise, let's move to the tool. In the first exercise, we will connect to the OAC instance and load our data set and enhance it with the information that we need to prepare our next exercise and analyze the data and get some insights from it. So let's move to our Oracle Analytics instance. I have the URL, I just need to connect to the instance. And connecting to the instance, it will share with me the home page where you can see a search bar. I can filter if I had more workbooks or reports. I can filter on datasets that are loaded, recent datasets, watch list, favorites, and machine learning part. On the top right side, I can see a button to create. Clicking on that will show me the possibilities that they have. I can create a workbook or a project. I can create a dataset, a data flow, a sequence of data flows, or a connection to a data source. You can also use data replication connection for the Fusion data sets, and I can leverage the semantic modeler to model my data and have a single source of truth in the tool. On the left side, top left side, we have the navigator menu. Here we can see that we are in the home page. We can move to the catalog page where we can see all the workbooks, projects, reports that we built under our folder, or the projects and reports that were built and shared with the other users. On the data side, we can see all our data sets that are loaded in the tool. We can see all the connections created, the data flows that we have, sequences and data replications. On the machine learning side, we can see all the machine learning models that we trained based on the out-of-the-box machine learning capabilities that the tool has, or the machine learning, the models that we imported from the other tools that the Oracle Analytics Cloud has the capability to leverage the models built in Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse, the Oracle Machine Learning part, or using the OCI Data Science part to leverage the Python created notebooks, or the AI services models, custom models, or pre-trained models that we have access from the AI service in Oracle Cloud infrastructure. You can also write our custom scripts and import them here and run the custom scripts from this section. We have the semantic model section where you are building your star schema models that you'll use, the single source of truth. And here you can create them and you can share it with the others to collaborate on that. You can also use Git repository to have a versioning of your model. Then we have the jobs part where you can create jobs to schedule, data refreshes, data flow refreshes, and so on. And we have the console part where it is the administrator console where you'll see all the options that you'll have in here. You can add extensions, you can add custom maps layer, and so on. You can create user roles, application roles, add users here. You can do the snapshotting part, that's the disaster recovery part. So you can back up your instances from here and so on. But let's go to the home page. And here we'll start by creating a new data set by clicking on the top right, create data set. A new pop-up windows will appear. And here we have an option to drag and drop our file or click on this button to browse for the file. The first file that will load is the expenses. Just select it and click on the expenses. Automatically, the tool will try to understand our every column in the data set. So it will try to mark it as an attribute with an A, or as a date column, or as a measure column here. So we can see that some of them were marked as attributes, some of them were marked as a date and as a measure. From this pop-up, we will click on OK to go to the data preparation part, where we can go on the data tab sheet, and we can see at the top we have a distribution, a summary distribution of every column that we have in our data set. And you can see how many records for different type of employees, how many records for the employee's office we have in here, and so on. And here we can also leverage this to clean our data. So let's say that we can see that in one of the cities are written wrong. We can fix that from here with a double click. I can edit this type of city and I can update it for the whole full columns that I have. In our case, we will leverage what is called the enhancement part. If we select one of the columns, on the right side, we can see that we have some recommendation to enhance our data. In our case, here we'll do only 2 steps. First, we can see that we have a sensitive data regarding the corporate card number. This information should not be shared with everyone. So selecting this column, we can see on the right side, we have 2 recommendations to delete our column or to obfuscate it. We'll choose to obfuscate so the information will not be shown directly to the user, but we can use this column behind to do joins and aggregations and groupings if we want. But the information regarding the number of the credit card will not be shown to the users at the end. One additional step that we will do is that for the destination country, if we are selecting destination country, you can see the list of recommendation to enrich it by flaps, by country name, by capital, square kilometer population, continent, and so on. We will enrich it with the ISO free code because this is a code that we can use to do joins with other type of data that we have, and it's better to do it do a joins on the code and not directly on the name of the country, because sometimes the spelling or the writing of the name should be different, but the tool automatically recognizes the name of the country and adds the code, the ISO free code to it. As you may see on the left side where we have the script steps, we can see the steps that we did. And these steps will be applied every time we upload new data on these data sets. Every time the first step will obfuscate the corporate card number, and then we'll enrich the destination country. So after doing this part, we will save our data set by clicking on the Save button. We will give it a name, expense data, and click on OK to save it. After the data was saved, we are moving back to the home page where we need to do an additional step to make our data searchable for the BI Ask tool to the BI server by going from the top left menu under data part, under data sets. We can see now that we have a data set that was uploaded. You can see the owner, when was modified and when was refreshed. Here on the top, on the right side, we can see a button, a menu button called Actions. On the 3 dots, clicking on that, we have some options. In our case, we will go to inspect our data set. And here on the inspect part, we need to just to make sure that 2 settings are set up. First one, to enable insights on this data set, to let the tool analyze our data set with the BI engine and the augmented analytics tools that we have in the end. And then we need to make our data sets searchable by indexing our data search for search for searching by names only. And this will run, we can set up a start date and we can say, okay, run it every hour or whenever we want, but we can also run it right now. Let's save all tool and run it, and this will run our dataset and make it available for us. Next, going home, and with this, we are finishing our first exercise. Let's move again to the slide deck. So we finished our first exercise. Next, we are getting some insights from search with our tool, with our own Analytics Cloud. In the first part, we added and did our data sets and make it available for the tool to be searched on. Next, what we will do, we will try to search our data set and leverage the analytics engine behind it and the machine learning capabilities for that to be searched. So let's move down again to our instance, Oracle Analytics instance. back again to our Oracle Analytics instance, we can see a big search bar at the top of our screen here called BI Ask, but also called Search Everything. With this, we can search from workbooks to reports to data. We can also search for machine learning models if you upload it. So everything that you added in your Oracle Analytics tool will be available for search, but we can also, if we made the datasets available for search, we may also search data in our dataset. So let's try first and search for something. I think we have something regarding expenses in our dataset. So adding the text in here, the natural text, natural language text, will give us also some show us also some of the fields in our datasets that are loaded that contain the expenses, but we can add the full text here, and with Shift Enter running the tool here, it will generate us a visual based on the field that was found with this text. So the expense amount is generated as a tile, a KPI value of our field that it found in the dataset. So this is a first step where you can analyze and search for your data. Let's go deeper and add more free text. So let's say that I want to see my expense amount by destination country and see if the tool can generate something for me. So the tool automatically changed the visual, adding a map, visualization over the two fields that it found in our dataset, one called expense amount, one probably called the destination amount. But we can go further and see more on this, okay, by destination country and expense type. So without writing any SQL code or scripts, we can leverage the tool engine and augmented analytics capabilities to find us some information and put it in a visual way, in a visual mode way for us to understand it better. We have three type of visuals in here. You can also go with the mouse over and you can change the visuals type. So we did some natural language query. Let's also do some natural language narrative part. We can try and ask the tool to generate and explain this visual, the previous visual, in a text way. The data show the expense amount by following countries. Together we can have a split, which country with the higher expense and so on. We can also minimize or maximize, or we can open it as a workbook here. So opening as a workbook will go our visual and create us our first workbook with the visuals that we had, and we can start and analyze it further with this. So we can start here with the visuals, but with this step, our second exercise will stop. We can change a little bit the visual here. So let's move it to have it on the map side. And now we have the expense amount by every destination country. And moving again back to the PowerPoint, in the second exercise, we use the search bar to find the fields that we wanted. We leverage and querying the data with tokens and not with script. So we use the natural language querying part to get some insights based on the data that we have loaded this time. Next, we are moving to exercise 3. And here we will leverage the machine learning right-click away capabilities of the tool. So out of the different possibilities, we will use the auto insights part. So remember when after we loaded the data into the tool, we inspected our data sets and make sure that this data was available for the auto insights engine. We will also show how easy it is to build a dashboard in less than 1 minute using these augmented capabilities, the auto insights part, and not doing a trial and error to build your visuals. Then we'll go deeper and we'll focus only on one of our columns, one of our fields in our data set, and try to get more insights on that. We will use explain functionality for that. So explain functionality will run some machine learning algorithms and statistics in the background. We'll try to analyze our data sets and put in the center the column that we are trying to explain and get some summarizations data and get some classification and regression trees based on that, or outliers based on the data sets that we have. Most important, yes, you will need also the business knowledge to interpret the results. So let's move back to the tool. We are on our first new workbook. Let's get familiar a little bit with this screen. On the center top bar, we have 3 buttons. We have the data part, where we can add new data set, may blend new data, or edit our current data set. We have the visuals part, where we are building our reports dashboards. Everything will happen here for the reporting or the dashboards creation. And we have the presentation part, where you will build your storytelling part. So after bring your dashboard or report, you can add it here and build your story, add text over it, add explanations, and share it with the others, export it as a PowerPoint, and so on. Today we will focus on the visual part to build our report and share it with the other. In the visualize part, we have the big part called canvas, where we have our first visuals here, and all the visuals that we will build will be added in this type of canvas. We can add extra canvases, we can delete them, rename it, and so on. We have the explorer part, where we can see our data sets. We can see also the type of visuals that are available out of the box in the tool. We can also do some advanced statistics or create parameters for us to use in our workbook. We have the graphic component part. So when I'm selecting one of the visuals, I can see the graphic components. I can see the layers. In our case, since we have a map, we have the category, the location, destination, country, and we have with the color the expense amount. So the darker the color, the expense amount is higher. And we have on the top, we have the properties box, where you can change the properties of the visual. You can play with the title, put a custom title, we play with the font, play with the legend, the styles, and so on. You can play with the number formatting, the map type. You can select the map background. In our case, it's a map. For every type of visual, this type of properties will change. You can add layers here and play with the layers, and you can filter your data. So everything is at your finger. You can play with them every time. So as mentioned, we will leverage in this exercise the ML and AI capabilities of the tool. The first one is the auto insights part. As we may see in the top right part, we have a bulb that it's yellow, and going with the mouse over it says that we have this auto insights. A yellow bulb means that the tool already processed our data set and can give us some insights for it. Clicking on it, we will find some type of visuals that the tool gave it to us. We have also an explanation about what we are seeing here. So not only the visuals, we can also get an explanation of what we are seeing in the visuals here. So we can see that we have a scatter plot with all members of the vendor on a grid with 2 axes. We have the expense amount on one axis, and we have the number of expenses for the other axis. With a double click or drag and drop, we can bring these insights into our canvas. So now we have built a visual without trying to get the columns into it, without trying to get the type of visuals. The tool automatically recommended as the visuals. If it is meaningful to us, we can bring it in our canvas. We can scroll and see what are the other type of visuals that the tool recommends us, and if they are meaningful for us, we will try to bring them to the canvas. Now we use the standard recommendation, but we can also play with the settings of the auto insights part. Clicking on this button, you can choose the type of the auto insights that you like to see type of. You can also choose the measures that you need to be included in this, the attributes, time attributes, small size attributes that you want to add or exclude, and medium size attributes and what columns you should exclude. And by applying the button, the tool will regenerate the insights for you, and you can bring some other insights if you want. But in our case, this visual, it's enough. We will move to the second type of AI ML capabilities of the tool. We are going to explain our expense amount. So selecting the expense amount from our data set, we will right click on it. A pop-up menu will appear, and we have some options for that. Have to add to the selected visualization to create a base visualization, pick a visualization or add it as a filter. And the last one is to explain expense amount. Clicking on the explain expense amount, it will generate some visuals. So it will run some machine learning statistic and summarization for us. It will try to give us some important insights of our column expense amount. We can see that we have a distribution of the expense amount, so the tool automatically did some bins for us. We can see also that we have a text explaining our expense amount. Expense amount is a numeric value, sum across all of them, so you don't have nulls. Going with the mouse over the visual, we can see that we have a checkbox. Selecting this checkbox, it means that we like this visual and we want to bring it to our workbooks, to our canvas. Below, we have also other type of visual summarization that were generated by the tool. And for this, we will select some of them that looks offer us some insights on our data. We have sales expense amount by department. This is something that we like to check because we can see that we have a spike in sales higher than every other department, and we want to further explore this. We can see that we also have the expense amount by expense type. This is something that you also want to check because we can see that there is a high spike in hotels. So we can see that our company is spending a lot of money in the hotels part. So when they are traveling in booking the hotels, and the highest, let's say, department with the highest expenses is the sales one. We can also check the other visuals that we have and see if there is something meaningful for us to bring in our tool. If not, let's move to the anomalies. So anomalies in expenses, for anomalies, the tool runs some proprietary Oracle algorithm to detect outlier, so to detect what are the expected values based on the historical data that we had for different type of columns or different type of departments. In our case, it runs 66 combination of 12 dimensions for the anomalies in our data set here, and we can see some of the type of anomalies that we have, or let's say them outliers. We expect that we have the corporate cash payment or cash payment to be lower when we don't have policies of an expense in policies, and we expect it to be lower than this. But let's move along and see what we also have as an anomaly. What can we do here in anomalies? We can, again, like the others, select them and add them to our data set. And after we selected all of our visuals here, we can at the end click on add selected. The tool automatically will generate a new canvas and bring us all the visuals from the explain part in it, and we can have a first and we can draw first conclusion of our data set. We can see that we have high expense amount for the sales department, and the highest expense amount by expense type is in hotel. And we can see that the cash personal card payment is higher than the company paid, and we expected to have it higher on the company paid side. And with this, we finished the exercise 3. Let's move again to our slide and see what should we expect to do in exercise 4. So just using the machine learning capabilities, we finished 3 exercises. We built 2 canvases of our dashboard, and we didn't touch manually any of the visuals. Everything was done by the tool with their capabilities. We didn't try to create a visual by our own or writing any scripts. But from now on, we will move and do that. We will do it in exercise 4, where we have the augmented analysis. We will see how we can add a new layer to our map, and also how we can do a forecasting, but again, doing forecasting with right click and not writing any script to it. So let's move to our workbook. We are in our workbook. Let's move to our first canvas. And here where we have our map layer, we just need to select our map. And from the layers, then we can see that we have a destination country layer. We have the 3 menu layer options, 3 dots layer. And from here, we can add a new layer. Clicking on add a new layer, a second layer will be added. For this layer, we will use the destination city to be our category and the expense amount as our color, as our size. So now we can see that on our map, we have bubbles appearing, and the size of the bubbles means that the expense amount is higher on that. Going with the mouse over, we can see that the cities and the expense amount for every of the cities in our data set here. And that is something that we can add on the second layer, and we can analyze and see the expense not only at country level, because we can see that in some of the countries we have different cities where our employees traveled, but we can also look directly to the city. Next, let's do a trend analysis and see the period of the year where we had our expense amount. So selecting expense amount, and with control pushed, we will select also the date. Right click, and let's let the tool to create us the best visualization. So the tool created us a line chart and showing us the expense amount by month in our data set. We can see the expense amount for every month in our data set. Let's forecast the next 3 months and see how our expenses will evaluate in the next 3 months. With right click on the visual, a pop-up menu will appear. Next, we have an option to add statistics. For the statistics part, we can add clusters, outliers, reference line, trend line, and forecast. And forecast is something that we are interested in. Clicking on forecast, the tool will generate the forecast for the next 3 months. And on the property box, we already changed automatically to the property box for the statistic part, for the analytics part. And we can see that we are doing a forecast using the next method. The periods are the 3, so next 3 months. The model is seasonal ARIMA, but we know that our traveling is not seasonal. So we need to change our model to be ARIMA and see if this will affect our forecast of our expenses. Don't see a higher change in our forecast. We can see that it's predicted to have an increase in our expenses for the next 3 months. Let's look also of the expense type that we have. Since we know that from the previous explain canvas, we know that the highest expenses are on the hotel type. Let's bring our expense type as a filter. So drag and dropping the expense type to the filter bar will show us all the expenses. And here, let's filter on the hotels. So from the list, we will select only hotels. And this will automatically filter all of our visuals with this expense type set as to be hotels. We can see that we have a spike in July for our expense amount for hotels. We can also see on the map a bigger bubble here, and going with the mouse over, we can see that this expense for Portugal, for the city destination Porto, has the biggest expense amount. Let's further analyze this, and let's also share our mark our expense amount or split them, our expense amount, by policy, and see if we added or if we reserved our hotels using the in policy as agreement or not. So drag and dropping the in policies to our color over our line chart, it will show how many expenses were made with an in policy agreement and how many were without an in policy agreement. So we can see that in July we have this spike of the not in policies agreement. So out of the policies hotels, we can see them that are in a high spike. But let's see what are the hotels where we spend this money on this period of time. So let's go back and select the expense amount. With control, we'll select the vendor. Right click on that. Now we will pick our visualization and we will try to see a horizontal bar. So we will see the expense amount by vendor for our hotels, but let's filter this by adding the hotels in Porto. So we will select the destination city, add it as a filter here, and for this we will search for Porto. Click on that, and now we already filtered our visual to see only the hotels in Porto. What additionally we can do, as in the previous visual and the line chart, we can color it by the policy color if our expenses with these vendors, if these vendors are applying the agreement that we have with them or not, and drag and drop to the color for our bar chart. And we can see that we have a hotel, the Porto City Center Hotel, that doesn't apply the agreement that we have with them for the traveling part. So we can see that it's the hotel with the highest amount where we paid, and we can see that this hotel doesn't apply our agreement deal. Let's save our visual now, our workbook, clicking on the top save bar menu, give it a name, expense and analysis, click on save, and we save it. And with this, we finalized our fourth exercise. Let's move to our presentation, and we are moving to exercise 5, and the last exercise in our workshop today. In exercise 5, we will blend in another data set. So we'll add a new data set to our workbook, and the data set is around the agreements that we have with every vendor. Then we will do a custom calculation and see how much savings we can do if the vendors will apply the agreements that we had. And at the end, we will design a little bit, arrange a little bit our dashboards to be more visual appealing for us and share it with people. So let's move fast to our workbook here. So we are in the visuals part. On the search part here, we can see a plus button. Clicking on that, we can add data. By adding a data, we can see that we don't have any new data sets to be added. Expense data, it's already in our workbook. We need to create a new data set. So we'll click on Create Dataset button. This will open a new tab, and we will apply the same steps that we did previously to add the first data set. We will select the agreements one, add it to Oracle Analytics Cloud here, clicking on OK. We will not do any data preparation for this. There is no need to do that. We just save it, give it a name, agreements, click OK. The dataset was successfully saved. Now what we need to do is to close this tab, move to our previous tab. We can see that we have a new dataset that we can bring to our workbook. Selecting the agreements, the green button to add it to workbook is now available. Clicking on that will bring our new dataset to our workbook. As we may see, between the two datasets, we have a line. That means that these two datasets are not joined together or blend together. We need to move to the data tab to do this joining or blending. If we go to mouse over between the two ones, we can see that there is no match between them, but we can see this dotted line with 0 connections. Clicking on that will have the pop-up to blend our data. We can add a match. Let's select the provider name from the agreements, and on the expense data amount is the vendor name. Let's add another match because we can have the same vendor in different countries, so we need to make sure that we are referring to the same vendor and the expense agreements in the country that we are searching or doing the analysis. So provider country with the destination country ISO 3. So we are using the new created column that we did it in the preparation step. Clicking OK, it will match our data sets together. And we can see that we have a join. Going to the visuals part, we don't see the line split it between them. And we can start and analyze the two data sets together. Let's expand a little bit also the agreements part and do it again. Let's try to build some KPIs. We started with the expense amount, but we didn't keep it. So let's bring it again to the visual. We drag and drop it, the expense amount automatically will create the best visual for us. And let's create a custom calculation. When going to my calculation, right click on that, add a calculation. We'll have a new pop-up with the space to create a new calculations. In our case, we will give it a name called savings. And in the formula bar, we will add our formula. So we'll have expense amount multiplied by the agreements discount. So agreement discount multiplied by expense amount to see how many the savings that we could do. We have a validate button to validate our formula that is correct. We have a save button to save it. Under my new calculations, I can see my new calculation, my new measure called savings. As with the expense amount, I will drag and drop it under it. Let's do some design part on the savings and expense amount. KPI styles, going to the property box. We are going to the values part. We will change our number formatting to be a currency. Here we can add our country currency, or in our case, let's add the euro sign for it. Let's do also an abbreviation for it. Let's do it on. So we can see that in our case here, we can have almost 60K savings if the policies were applied for and when we are traveling to the hotels. Repeat the same step for the expense amount. So the number format will be currency. The currency will be euro. And the abbreviation should be on. And now to be more visual, we will drag and drop them side by side. And we can see that we have the expense amount and savings side by side. After this, we can play a little bit with the colors. So again, from the properties, let's add the background color, a custom one. Let's do the field. Let's add something green. You can also add the hash code if you want. Also play with the colors here. Now we can see more data are saving. We can also change our label font, our value font. Let's make it white to see it better. And also our label font. Let's make it white to see it better. Okay, one last step that we need to do in our case here is to better understand our Porto City Center vendor. We can add a note in the dashboard here, and in this note we can mention that our Porto City Center hotel is the outlier and is not applying the discount. Okay, so we have a notice for our end users to see it. We can link the note with in our case, the bubble in the scatter plot to better understand it. We can also visualize it in the preview mode. In this preview mode, it's showing you how the end user will see the dashboards. And with this part, we finish our workshop just in time. 1 minute left. Let's go back and do a recap what we did in our exercise, in our workshop. So during our lab, our workshop, we ingested an Excel file. We used the search bar or Ask Me Everything with embedded ML to analyze our data. We created map and visual easily, and we matched the data with another data set and saved our project and shared it with the others. I'll stop my share now. If we have any questions.
Ionut, there's actually, sorry, Violetta, I'll just put
no worries, no worries.
There's actually a few, I tried to badly answer the first one, but anyway, you could pick that up. Ionut, you had a question which is bringing your own machine learning models. I know you covered that a little bit, but you said that's probably the most common question. So just to kind of drive that issue home, can you answer that one?
Yeah, so you can bring additional machine learning algorithms using the other tools from Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So you can use the algorithms built in Oracle Machine Learning from Autonomous Data Warehouse. You can register models built in OCI Data Science, or you can use the predefined or custom-built models using the AI services, AI vision language for the moment.
Perfect. Thanks, Ionut.
Okay, then with that, I would like to say thank you, Ionut, for presenting to us today and for demoing this service. Thank you all for attending this session. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye, and enjoy the rest of the day.